Hey everyone, it is Atia here at Booking It with Atia, and today we're going to get into all of the books that I receive during the month of February. To make sure that you don't miss any of my videos, my upcoming projects, make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I release a new video. All right, let's jump straight into it because I have a list of 22 books I was sent in the glorious month of February. Starting with Pinata, the paperback of Pinata by Leopoldo Gout. This is from Tor Nightfire. I don't know much about this besides the fact that it is a horror of some sort, and it was released very recently in paperback. It was previously released in hardcover, and I'm not going to read the synopsis of this one or many of them, honestly, because I would just take too long, but it says, "They were worshipped by our ancestors. Now they are forgotten. Soon they'll make us remember." Like, what? Doesn't that sound just absolutely terrifying? So once again, thank you to Tor Nightfire. Next up, we have Love on the Ninth Floor by Aries Sky. This is a contemporary romance about a woman and a man who get stuck in an elevator, and I believe this is also this is a second chance because they previously, I don't know how they met before, but it says that they come into contact again in this elevator. She gets stuck in the elevator and he's the fireman that rescues her and he carries her out, and it becomes this huge TikTok sensation and everyone is like obsessed with their love story in the making. So they decide to fake date and make a go out of it because I guess why not? And once again, thank you, Black Odyssey Media. Then we have a copy of Black Girl, You Are Atlas by Renee Watson and with fine art by Akua Holmes. This is I guess we can say like autobiography in verse with also pictures about Renee Watson. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. She is an absolutely incredible writer, and I've already kind of flipped through some of the pages. The artwork is really cool and really engaging, and thank you to Penguin Teen for this finished copy. Next up, we have an arc of Second Night Stand by Corellia and Faye Stetz Waters. This is really cool because this is actually written by a real life couple, and I believe it's actually based on their love story. And so it says, and this book is actually coming out in May, and it says, one hookup is about to become one seriously hilarious situationship in this vibrant and lively romantic comedy about taking chances and breaking the rules. And it is the relationship between a prima ballerina and a burlesque dancer. And thank you to Forever Publishing for this art copy. Next up, we have one that I am super excited about, and that is Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. This was sent to me by Orbit, so thank you to them. This is a fantasy world where we have sirens and nymphs, and you have a universe where the people are segregated. So I believe the humans live up like above in the city. They live on the higher. I don't want to say they live in the sky because I don't think they live in the sky. I think they just live like in a semi-flooded city. Humans are quite literally on top, peering down from shining towers and aerial walkways on the Fathom Folk, sirens, sea witches, kelpies, and kappas. And they live in the polluted waters below. So we have some water beings, rebellion. Is there war? Not really war, but more revolution. I am excited to get to this one, and it's actually one of the books that I am anticipating to read during the month of March, so I actually need to get on that. Then we have Nearly All the Men in Lagos Are Mad by Damalari Kuku, and this is a collection of stories following different women in Lagos, Nigeria, about just their dating experiences, and it's also a love letter to Nigerian women and their resilience, and I'm loving this. I haven't started it, but I love the concept of it, and I find that I actually really enjoy contemporary short story collections, so this is one that I want to get to in the warmer months, and thank you to Harper Via for sending this finished copy. Then we have another one of my most anticipated books of the year, and that is Tender Beast by LaSalle Savory. When I read Delicious Monsters a year ago, because I read it my birthday weekend last year, I was so enthralled by the horror elements and the horror writing in that book. That book is absolutely incredible. And this one, I mean, I'm ready to just eat this up. What I know, and I don't want to read the synopsis because I don't want to know too much, but what I know is that we have a girl. She has been prepared to be the matriarch of her family. Like, I don't know if her mother's like a gangster or like part of Black Mafia. I don't really know, but she is like really powerful. She's priming her daughter to take her spot. Before her mother dies, she's like, hey, I need you to take care of Dom. Dom is her brother, who's recently been released from prison on a murder charge. And she doesn't really know her brother. She also doesn't know if he did it or not. And I think there might be another murder, and there's some creepy stuff happening, some creepy elements. I cannot wait to finally read this. And big thank you to McElderly Books, which is Simon & Schuster. Next up, we have Can't I Go Instead by Lee Gyum Yi, translated by Anne Seonjae. I don't know anything about this. I did when I accepted it. It's a historical fiction, which I kind of knew, but it says 2 women's lives and identities are intertwined through World War II and the Korean War, revealing the harsh realities of class division in the early part of the 20th century. I'm really getting into and really have found that I am quite enjoying historical fantasy this past year, so I'm looking forward to adding this to the historical... Did I say historical fantasy? I meant historical fiction. I'm looking forward to adding this to the historical fiction docket. And thank you to Tor Forge for sending me a finished copy. Then we have 3 other books, and I thought that I guess I did separate this all by publisher, but some books got separated because I have another set of books by Orbit, and this is the re-released traditionally published copies of the Mead Mishaps series. So we have book 1, which is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. Then we have That Time I Got Drunk and Needed a Love Potion at a Werewolf. And That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. I loved these books. I ate them up. They were, like I said, well, I didn't say, but they were previously independently published and they were available on, I think they were on Kindle Unlimited. And that's how I read them initially. And then she got picked up by a traditional publisher. She got picked up by Orbit, and we got redesigned covers and all that jazz. But I really do love this series. It is a Romantasy series, and it's just great. It has equal parts fantasy and like cottagecore vibes and equal parts spicy romance, and it's just awesome. So huge shout out and thank you to Orbit for the finished copies. And also, these covers are gorgeous. These covers are absolutely stunning. I mean, what? I can't decide which one's my favorite. It's either this one or the first one. This is the first one. It might be the first one, honestly. But yeah, so once again, thank you to Orbit. Then we have a series which I have been thoroughly enjoying, and it is sadly coming to an end because the trilogy is now complete. So we have the CC Rios series, which I think is the name of the series. Yeah, I believe so. The first book being CC Rios and the Desert of Souls by Kayla Rivera. Then CC Rios and the King of Fears, as well as the third and final book, CC Rios and the Queen of Brujas. This is a middle period fantasy that is steeped in Mexican mythology and Mexican lore. We have CC Rios, who in the first book is determined to find her sister or bring her sister back, because in this town they know that there is a... What is he named? What is he called? I forgot his name, but there is this criatura, which is a creature or a monster who goes around and he kidnaps teenage girls to become his like brides or whatever. And so that happens to CC Rios's sister, and she's like, no way. And that is what launches us into the first book and the rest of the series. I highly recommend this series. I absolutely adore it and love it. And I'm looking forward to diving into the third book. And thank you to HarperCollins Children for this set of the trio. So now my set is complete. Then we have a nice little stack from Tor.com Publishing. I have 5 books here by them, starting with Archangels of Funk by Andrea Hairston. All I know is that this is fantasy, but this cover, which the light is, there we go. And a book just fell. I love that. But this cover is absolutely incredible. It's a very short synopsis, so I will read it to you. Run from your past, hide from your future, protect your present. I love that. The water wars have scrambled the world. Flood refugees are on the run. Disruptors and the nostalgia militia roam the roads, wreaking havoc. Invisible dark net lords troll the internet, solidifying their power, while Cinnamon, her 3 circus bots, and 2 dogs work with a community of farmers, motor fairies, and wheel wizards to provide housing, healthcare, and education for flood refugees. As Cinnamon confronts threats from the Darknet Lords and the Nostalgia Militia, she must determine how best to honor her elders and her history while building a future for herself and her charges. It's not going to be easy. Doesn't that just sound decadent and delectable and delicious and all the D words apparently, because that's the role that I was on. But I might add this to my April TBR. We'll see. Next up from Tor.com Publishing, we have a novella, which is The Butcher of the Forest by Premi Mohammed. This one says a world-weary woman races against the clock in this dark, otherworldly fairy tale from Nebula and World Fantasy Award-winning author Premi Mohammed. At the northern edge of a land governed by a merciless foreign tyrant lies a wild, forbidden forest ruled by powerful magic. Varys Thorn, the only one to ever enter the forest and survive, is forced to go back inside to retrieve the tyrant's missing children. Within its depths awaits traps and trickery, ancient monsters, and hauntings of the past. One day is all Varys is afforded. One misstep will cost everything. This is actually one of 4 books that I will be incorporating into a vlog project. Comment down below if you can guess the theme of that vlog project based on the fact that this book is going to star in that video. Next up, we have another novella, Lost Ark Dreaming by Suyi Davies Okubongwa. This one, again, I'm not super sure what it's about, but it's giving like dystopian, futuristic sci-fi vibes. And it says, the brutally engineered class divisions of Snowpiercer meet River Solomon's The Deep in this high-octane, post-climate disaster novella written by Nomo award-winning author Suyi Davies Okubongwa. So this is after the Atlantic Ocean just like kind of rises up and causes a huge climate issue, and you have the survivors that are now in these towers, these really high towers, and of course there's going to be class division and segregation and politics to go along with that. And then you have the people that were left for dead that want revenge, and there's all that politicking that has to happen. And yeah, this is another one that I'm really looking forward to. Next up, another novella. We have The Truth of the Aleki by Moses Osi Utomi. This is actually the sequel to The Lies of the Ojungo. And I'm really looking forward to this one. So this is a world where in the first book, we meet a young boy, and at a certain age, you get your tongue removed. And that's just a part of it. And because there's also a drought, there's no water, and he goes out into the desert to try and find water for his people before his tongue gets out. And you follow his adventure and the things that he learns about the society and about the world that he lives in. And this book takes place 500 years later. And that's all I'm going to say. I do highly recommend The Lies of the Ojungo, and I am very much looking forward to The Truth of the Aleki. Next up, we have another novella, and this is actually one that I am super excited. This is one of my most anticipated releases of this year. I have several, honestly. I have a whole list. But this is The Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Jelly Clark. This man can write. Like, he can write. If you're looking to like where to start with his writing, I would start with Ring Shout, which is a historical horror. But he also has the term just flew out my head, like a cyberpunk alternate history in Cairo fantasy mystery book that's out called The Master of Jinn. There we go. Is it The Master? Yeah, I think it's The Master of Jinn, which was absolutely incredible. I love both of those books, and so I'm very much looking forward to this one. I don't know much about this, I'll be real honest with you. But it says, the dead cattail assassins are not cats, nor do they have tails, but they are most assuredly dead. Like, what? Nebula and Alex Award winner P. Jelly Clark introduces a brand new world in a fantastical city full of gods and assassins. And that's all I need to know. Truthfully, I will read anything this man writes. So I knew that he was coming out with a new project, and I was like, okay, bet. Add it to the list. Do I know what it's about? No. Once again, thank you to Tor.com Publishing for these 5. Next up, we have 2 from Tor Teen. The first being Infinity Alchemist by Kaysen Calendar. This is a fantasy book, and it says... So on the back, it says, featuring trans, queer, and polyamorous characters of color, Infinity Alchemist is the hugely anticipated young adult fantasy debut from the extraordinary author of Felix Ever After, which I've read, and that was incredible, King and the Dragonflies, Queen of the Conquered, and more. And this is a world in which you have to be legally permitted to study magic, and our main character is rejected from the college that would allow him to do that. And so he gets a job as a groundskeeper, and he starts to practice magic in secret. He's found out by, I guess, his like nemesis enemy type thing. And then that's all I know from there, and that's all I want to know. But yeah, this is actually out on, it's already out. It came out in February. Then we also have Blood Justice by Terry J. Benton Walker. And this is a sequel to Blood Debt, which I read last year. This is another young adult fantasy. We're in a world, I think, are we in New Orleans? New Orleans? I think so. But we live in a world where Black people practice a specific kind of magic, or rather there's magic, and it's directly tied to your ancestry. And there are some threats to the family that we're following. We follow 3 teens really, but 2 of those teens are brother and sister, and we're figure out like what is attacking the source of their magic, and what happened, and why were they disgraced, and why was the matriarch of the townspeople changed, and things like that. And I really enjoyed the first book. I enjoyed what it was trying to do, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Terry J. Benton Walker's writing evolved and developed in this book, because I don't remember the exact rating that I gave Blood Debts, but I did have some critiques. But then I read his middle grade, Alex Wise versus the End of the World, and I absolutely loved that. Granted, Alex Wise came out after Blood Debts, so that's why I'm looking forward to seeing how everything that I loved about Alex Wise, writing-wise, I'm hoping was evolved and developed and put into Blood Justice. And once again, thank you to Tor Teen. Last up, we actually have a picture book, and it is Zandy's Song, written by Zandili Ndoluvu and illustrated by Katlego Kioke Gali. And I would like to thank, here we go. Oh, I was looking for this. So this is about a real-life, effervescent, blue-haired mermaid from South Africa who is on a mission to protect our planet's oceans and connect young people, especially people of color, to the seas. And thank you to Amazon Crossing Kids for a finished copy. And I just love the cover. And look at that. I might actually read this to my little cousin the next time that she's here, because this artwork is just gorgeous. And it's so fun. Like, it really, really is so fun. And I love the message that it has. And yeah, guys, so that is all the books that I received in February. Thank you so much to the publishers. And yeah, it's always nice to receive unexpected or sometimes expected book mail and do a nice book mail haul. I want to say at the end of the month, but it's the middle of March and I'm recording this because procrastination, but you know, whatever. If you like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below which of these books have you heard of, which one do you think I should prioritize. Make sure you are subscribed and that you've hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. All of my socials are linked down below, as well as the links to my Etsy shop and my Pango book storefront. And I will see you in another video. Bye.
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm in the sky.